you have seen beyond yourself, then you may find peace of mind is waiting there. George Harrison.
Incessant violence that surrounded the battlefield of an endless war between Vietnam and United States. One of the war's most misunderstood, misreported, and misremembered somehow, in which nearly 60,000 were killed in action, over 150,000 were wounded, and some 1,600 still missing, including as army and as innocents. It is said that this long-lasting war was too irrational, and the people noticed, but mostly the youths.
The welfare state, as it is referred to the economic policies that impulse greatly the productivity and therefore lower costs, stopped for a while the awakening of the population due to that they were North American society satisfied economically speaking, as giving them the access to consumer goods as never before in the history, but changing the ideology of our conservative family values to more industrialist ones, which result into a more independent mind of teenagers.
Therefore, the lethargy and a numbness regarding the claims respecting the Vietnam War were truncated. But as more as the conflict growth and lasted, the media was gaining influence on people, and made them think in a more globalized way and to consider that death of men was unnecessary. Especially if these did not have to defend their country, and that they have to leave what they love for fighting others. This, along to the recent Korean War, that was also visceral, emancipate youth and give birth to different movements of certain aspects.
Like the movement of American writers that opposed conformism and the rising of young Americans' ideas and the spiritual philosophical initiatory techniques that were in contradiction with the traditional Christian and Jewish spirituality, the extreme tense situation between the authorities and Latin and Afro-American minorities that demanded equal rights to the other members of the population, which gives birth to the beginning of rock, the feminist movements looking for sexual freedom and the extreme movements.
This, plus the fusion of the psychopharmacological scientific discipline with religious mysticism, which led to the appearance of the LCD religion, gives birth to a youth that they were careless in their dress, listened to jazz and rock and roll, consumed drugs, and that they were prone to sexual excesses as a sign of protest to the conventional puritanical society in which they lived, and those were referred as hippies.
They were rebels, which by their not-violent actions, they rejected comfortable and bourgeois positions of current societies at that time, answering to more self-conscious perspectives that are aware to the potential of the human as organic and its potential to create or destroy. And they were searching for peace, reconnection of nature, sense of freedom, but most of all, freedom out of the conformism and love.
Due to their ideals, they began taking actions that were congruent to what they support. They tried to attack chaos with a non-tangible perspective of peace and unity among country barriers. Its impact is more ideological rather than violent actions, like when 50,000 people surrounded in the Pentagon and put flowers into the weapons of the military police force as a demonstration of what their ideals represent. In fact, flowers were used in all moments as a symbol suggested by Scott McKenzie, an important musician and influencer. Another key leader is Allen Ginsberg, the crazy shaman of the Great Generation, and Timothy Leary with the LSD.
This important movement began to get extinguished when Vietnam War was finally over, and that was celebrated in 1975 in Central Park massively. Usually, of the movement of the death of the hippie was the end of the active actions of hippies, where they simulated the burial of their movement. This manifestation carried a coffin full of relics of ideology. Little by little, the movement got extinct, and although today there are still elements to the movement, but it's still less massive.
Some will say that the movement is still alive in one of us, because hippies and among other youth movements represent nothing more than freedom by courage in times of chaos, existing by thought and, in case of hippies, an emanating love for living beings that will last until the universe and beyond.
I have a good opinion about this movement because after this episode, the people started to think in a more peaceful and free way. And this nowadays in societies is so important, especially for think before starting a new war. Also, the brave that youth have in this era for make a change so big is something admirable.
Movements are very important because they represent the ideologies of the next generations. They have an innovative ideas and may have a different perspective of the world than others. That's the case of the hippie movement, where they saw another solution to a very important conflict. And they also marked the history and changed the tendencies. I support and think that the hippie movement was very important because it was useful to push the authorities to end of the war.
If we see hippies from only the tangible and superficial view, we won't understand their actions completely, naming them as ridiculous or immature. But if you actually see it under the point of view of an empty society full of material things, we can understand that need of liberating themselves, but most of all by cultivating their souls, by questioning what they live and make it grow by giving love.